Alright guys, this is my new all-time favorite lawnmower, 6.5 horsepower or whatever, Briggs & Stratton flathead with a primer bulb, no automatic choke. This one came in, the person who owns it works with, let me see. No, he's a friend of the guy who fixed our furnace. That's how it goes. So he's a friend of a guy who fixed our furnace. And that's called word of mouth, right? And he said it starts and stalls, but I just turned it on its side to give it a bath, underneath and on top, and then it started. So let's just see what it does right now. Bring it back a little bit. It even started wet, eh? That's why I love these things. Well, maybe not. On this one, I'm just going to do a minor carb clean. And I'm trying to check the gas to see if it's old. So, yes, I had my dance salt specials on. I'm going to switch to running shoes. These things aren't comfortable. So, let's get set up in the usual fashion. Whew, it's been a busy few days. Let's go. Oh, shoes. All right. Let's get some tools. A little more light. And let's just have a look here. Try and stay out of the way. Fuel line clamp. I've been told that this lawnmower has never been stored outside. So that's just wonderful. I'm just gathering my tools up here, guys. Might need some bad gas. I think I told you all about the story of my bad gas, right? Ah! No. Bad gas. That's kind of funny. Now, do I take this cover off or not? You know, the primer works. So I'll be right back in just a minute. Well, I was going to use my ultrasonic cleaner on this, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. You heard it was running relatively good. So let's just get that bowl off of here. Now, it should drop a little bit of gasoline, but not much. Oh, machines that are stored inside. 'Tis a pleasure. Oh, let me show you what I'm up to. Because you might be a first-time viewer, not an old-time viewer. So okay, we'll come at the front. Right underneath there. Oh, we need some light too, eh? Right underneath there is a carburetor bowl. Right there. And I'm just taking the brass bolt out of the end of that. And I'm wearing rubber gloves because I'm trying to look after my hands a little bit better. There we go. And that's as far as we're going to go right now until we see what the gas looks like. So let's go over to the bench. I know, I'm moving you around. It's part of the operation. The operation! Okay, a tree. My kingdom for a check. Looks okay, actually it looks really quite good. A little water in it, but I might have done that right now. So I'm just going to do a little bit of washing for now with the carb spray. This is a newer carb spray I'm using and I'm not happy with it. It's probably the same product as the others, but the velocity that comes through this tiny little tube on the end is not what I'm liking. I don't want to show you what it is because I don't get paid from anybody and I don't want to make anybody angry. Okay, that is clean as a whistle. Not bad. It had a little tiny bit of dirt in it and some water actually if you look there. Right? You can see it, eh? Okay, so that's clean. Now, this is not just the bolt that holds that on, blah, 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 blah. All you guys that watch a lot are going, okay, well now he's going to take the bolt off. Now he's going to get his tiny little wire poker and he's going to poke a hole through the side. And he's going to poke a hole down through the top. He's going to look through. But with congealed ethanol, I'm going to use my one with some velocity. With congealed ethanol, you can see through it and it might still be plugged. Okay, so we go through the side. Oh! I don't know what you're looking at. Here we go. So, right here, yes. So there's the little bolt. So hard to do. Now let's use the carb spray I like. We'll just compare. Isn't that a difference? And then up through the bottom. I think that's just fine. I think there's water in the tank, but let's just clean this out. Yeah, there's quite a bit of water in there. I might just dump all of the gas out of this lawnmower and we'll see what we end up with. You don't have to watch me do that. I'm just going to tilt that lawnmower off to the side and get all the gas out of it. Okay, you might as well watch me spill some gas. Now we'll get the lawnmower onto the proper side of the lift. So I've got room to maneuver. I know, making plans, usually I just go and spill a bunch of gas on the floor, right? So here we go. Let's slip it a bit. Okay, I gotta use two hands. Not much gas in it. Well, that was lucky. Come on, punk. Do you feel that? That was a little iffy. Okay, now I'm going to let the rest of the gas go. If there is any. All right, that's interesting. Okay, guys. If you look in there, there's just a little tiny bit of water in the bottom, and I don't think it's pretty dirty too, eh? You can see it down there. So that's probably what's making it run questionably. So I think we're almost home free on this little carb. Yeah, look at the wall there. You okay? was almost a spill, but we managed to not spill the lawnmower on the ground. I think I'm just going to put this back together. Got to make sure I don't spill any or get any guck into the. I'm putting this carburetor bowl back on. There we go. Click. Isn't that a beautiful sound? Come on, baby. I still feel a small amount of warmth coming off the engine. Good. And I'm just doing up the same one you saw me undo. You guys that know me know I do this a lot instead of pulling off the cover. On these Briggs anyway. There we go. Okay, so while I've got this half apart and the engine's relatively warm, I'm going to change the oil and sharpen the blade on spec. Okay, now I'm going to take the blade off. This is for the rookies. The rest of you guys have probably watched. Light. Okay, right there, that's the blade. And right there is a 9/16 bolt that holds the blade in. And I'm going to take that blade off, and then we're going to take the oil out from that hole right there. Okay. So I've just recharged my special electric impact. I usually use the long sockets, but on this one there's a slight space problem, so I'm going to use. Now, isn't that a beautiful thing? I didn't have to roll out air hoses or. And now we're going to get that oil out of there. Socket extension. I feel like a king. Now if you have these tilted and they don't have too much oil in them, you don't spill any oil when you take that bolt out of the motor. But if they're not tilted far enough, then you got a mess. So now, the blade is now gone. Remove the jack and put the margarine bowl right there and use a peeker. Yikes. There. And some air into the crankcase. So that can drain, and I'm going to sharpen the blade. Alright, we're going to put the plug back in, oil plug. Never too tight. And the blade. And I did balance this blade on a nail. I've had some guys say that they stay wherever you put them, but that's only on a balanced blade. When they're unbalanced, they actually do fall from one side of the nail to the other. And it's sharpened. Looks good. Cut side up. And because it's a blade, I'm going to give it just an eighth of a turn more with the big boy. There we go. So now we need oil. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, did you know I heard it through the grapevine? My new favorite funnel. And I should be working on this side of the machine, right? Half a liter. Or just a smidge more than half a quart. Whatever, right? So isn't that new funnel fantastic? No more funneling around. And the only thing left in my book is an air filter and a spark plug check. And if the spark plug looks good at all, I'll just clean it. Because it's an RJ19LM. My favorite. And this guy's a furnace man, right? So there's spark plugs in your furnace now. So it looks pretty good. In fact, looks really good. I'm just going to blow the carbon off of that with the grinder and clean it. I'll be right back. So when I said blow the carbon off with the grinder, that's not really correct. Grinder, wire wheel. You gotta get one. Walk this way. Bob's your uncle. That's what Tyrell says. I'll steal a phrase, but I won't take credit for it. I'm just going to check the gap. Although there's a couple of phrases that I think I've started. I know I've started. Broccoli underneath. That comes from my wife's father, who's now passed. He used to say the broccoli that they served at the table, the kitchen table, looked like the stuff from under the lawnmower. There we go. And ugly as a mud fence, I can take that one too. Or I'm working faster than a blue-ass fly, that's mine too. But there are some other great sayings, and that's one of the reasons why we watch YouTube instead of TV, because it's real. I'm just going to take a little bit of air and blow those threads off. I love these. Spark plug! Let's close that. Oh no, I'm not going to close the big door. Just aim some light. Good. And I've heard people say, oh, it's only $6 for a plug. That's not the point. In fact, every time I go through one of these lawnmowers like that one or that old guy over there, that's one less lawnmower that hits the landfill, right? I know the people at top politics are saying that these lawnmowers pollute, but I think a lawnmower that's made in a modern factory that only lasts for 2 years because they quit from bad ethanol and they get chucked into a dumpster are much more harder on the environment and the pollution that it takes to make one of these lawnmowers. And this one is a 2002, right? So it is 17 years old. And I still think it's a nice new lawnmower. Maybe I'm crazy. So I'm just going to put an air filter on this and put some gas in it and we'll see how it goes. Alright, let's see if she flies. It's got a clean spark plug, new air filter, changed the oil, cleaned the bowl and jet, new gas, cleaned or sharpened the blade. So it should be ready to go. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to go check out in the hoard to see if I've got one of those covers. All right. Are you ready? We're recording. Get rid of this leaf. 4 or 5 pumps because it was completely empty. And it should just go. Up. One more try. Yes, I'm out in the garage in my slippers and my sweatpants. Please forgive me. So this is the next day. I always do a test the next day because when an engine's hot, it starts. But when an engine's cold, that's when you learn. So this has really got a good primer on it. So I'm only going to prime it 3 times. I usually do it more, and this should do it. It starts with golden.